You've done this 1,000 times. You type a question, you press enter, and the answer types itself out, word by word, like someone on the other end is writing to you. Here's the strange part. When the first word appears on your screen, the rest of that answer doesn't exist yet. Not hidden somewhere, not loading, it hasn't been created. So what exactly are you watching? That screen makes two quiet suggestions, and both feel completely natural. It looks like search. Type a question, get a result, so somewhere there must be a giant library of answers. And it feels like conversation. It remembers what you said, it responds in your tone, so something over there must be understanding you. Both of those are reasonable. Both are wrong in ways that matter. And the real story starts with the most boring object on your desk, the enter key. When you press enter, nothing exotic happens. The app takes the text you wrote and packages it up as a message. The same thing that happens when you submit any form on any website. The interesting part is what gets attached to it and where it goes next. Your words leave your device as an encrypted web request, the same kind of protected connection your bank uses. They travel across the internet to OpenAI's servers. That's worth pausing on. ChatGPT is not on your laptop. The thing you're talking to is a system running in data centers somewhere else, and every message you send makes that trip. But your message doesn't travel alone. Here's the first genuinely surprising fact of this story. The model itself doesn't remember you between messages. It isn't sitting there holding your conversation in mind, waiting. So the system sends the conversation, your earlier messages, its earlier answers, plus instructions the service adds behind the scenes, along with your new question. Every single time, the model rereads the whole thing, every turn. And because there's a limit to how much it can take in at once, very long chats eventually overflow it. Different products handle that overflow differently. But that's why an hours-long conversation starts forgetting its own beginning. It's not rude, it's full. Now the language has to change form. Models don't read words the way you do. Before anything else happens, your text is broken into tokens, chunks that are sometimes a whole word, sometimes a piece of one. The word press might survive intact. A rarer word gets split into fragments. A tool called a tokenizer does this, and OpenAI publishes theirs, so this part we can say with confidence. A token is just one of those chunks with a number attached. Your question becomes a sequence of numbers. That sounds like a loss. It's actually the door into everything that follows. So take everything we've gathered, your new message, the conversation history, the behind-the-scenes instructions, all of it tokenized, all of it lined up into one long sequence. That sequence is what the model actually receives. Not your paragraph, not your intent. One long line of tokens read all at once. Here's where it stops being plumbing. The model at the center of this is a transformer, a neural network architecture introduced in a 2017 research paper and the foundation of essentially every modern AI chatbot. The transformer's core trick is called attention, and at a high level it means this. Every token in your sequence can be weighed against every other token. Which earlier words matter for this one? When your sentence says it, attention is how the model connects it to the thing you mentioned 2 paragraphs ago. Be careful with that word though. Attention here isn't awareness. Nothing is paying attention the way you're paying attention right now. It's mathematics, relationships between tokens learned from enormous amounts of text. The model isn't understanding your question the way a person would. It's computing how the pieces of your text relate, which turns out to be astonishingly powerful and is still not the same thing. And after all of that processing, here's what the model actually outputs. Not a sentence, not an answer, a list. Across its entire vocabulary, the model produces a probability distribution, a ranked field of candidates for what the next token should be, each with a weight. After the capital of France is, the token for Paris towers over everything else. After my favorite movie is, thousands of candidates spread the weight between them. One forward pass, one list of possibilities, that's the model's entire move. Then the system picks. Not always the single most likely token, a weighted pick with settings that control how adventurous that choice can be. And that one detail explains something you've definitely seen. Ask the same question twice, get 2 different answers. Nothing malfunctioned, The selection is probabilistic, so reruns can walk different paths through the possibilities. One token has now been chosen, maybe 3 letters of a word. So how do you get a full answer? The chosen token is appended to the sequence, and the entire process runs again. Everything gets read again, a new distribution is produced, a new token is picked, again and again. Every chunk of every word, generated one at a time, each conditioned on everything before it until the model produces a stop signal, which is why there's no stored answer. There is no answer database being searched, no document being retrieved. The reply is being built, chunk by chunk, specifically for your sequence. It never existed before you asked. It wasn't found. It was made. Raw generation isn't the whole pipeline, though. OpenAI documents safety systems, moderation models that can flag categories of harmful content, and product rules that shape what gets through. That's part of why you sometimes see a refusal or an answer that stops midstream. What we can't tell you is exactly where those systems sit or in what order they run. That's proprietary engineering, and public documentation supports the what far more than the where. So picture checkpoints in the pipeline and picture fog around their exact positions, because that fog is the honest part of this diagram. Now the part you've been watching all along. The system doesn't wait for the full answer to finish. As tokens are generated, they're streamed back over the connection in small pieces, and the interface renders each piece as it arrives. That typing effect? It isn't an animation, it's the generation itself arriving in real time. You are watching the answer being made, even part of that pause before the first word. That's the system taking in everything you sent before it can produce anything at all. Maybe the most watched loading indicator in software turns out not to be a loading indicator at all. One honest caveat before the ending. Everything so far is the base story at a high level, and it can vary by model and feature. When browsing or another tool becomes active, searching the web, running code, whether you chose it or the system decided your question needed it, additional systems join the pipeline and the flow gets longer and genuinely different. Those are worth their own video. Just know, whatever a tool brings back still feeds into the same engine you just watched, one token at a time. So let's close the loop on those first impressions. It's not looking up your answer. Nothing was retrieved. Everything was generated. It's not pulling your answer off the web. Generation runs on the model and your context, and when search does join in, what it finds flows into that same engine, not around it. It's not understanding you the way a person does. It's computing learned relationships between tokens, a different kind of process with different strengths and different failure modes. It's not remembering everything forever. It rereads a limited window of your conversation every turn, and it doesn't know its own internals, and neither does anyone outside OpenAI fully. The exact machinery is proprietary. It varies across models and plans, and it changes over time. An honest explanation has edges, and those are ours. So here's the picture to keep. On the outside, a pipeline. Your words travel out, gather context, become tokens, pass through the model and its surrounding systems, and stream back. On the inside of that pipeline, a probability engine, a system that does exactly one thing, brilliantly. Look at everything so far and produce a weighted field of what could come next. Choose, append, repeat. A pipeline wrapped around a probability engine. Hold on to that, and the typing effect, the variable answers, the long chat forgetting, the sudden refusals, they all stop being mysteries and become consequences. Which leaves the question this model makes unavoidable. If every answer is generated fresh from probabilities, never found waiting, never guaranteed, then why is it right so often, and why sometimes is it confidently wrong? That's the next video. If this one changed how you see that blinking cursor, you know what to do.